Hey guys, I'm Sean Hammond with PremierGuitar.com. We are in Nashville at Summer NAMM 2017 talking to Jeff from Source Audio. And we got Alex playing for us. Jeff, you guys have a new pedal here, the Ventris Dual Reverb. I almost said something else. Dual Reverb.
Dual Reverb. Yep. Yeah, it's our latest pedal. We're hoping we're shooting to get this thing out at the end of August, possibly September. We'll see. You know, no reverb pedal before it's time.
So give us the spiel on it. You guys are famous for having very feature-rich pedals, and does a lot of the times half the functionality isn't even visible. Like you have software editors and stuff, but you want to just start at the basics on this?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, it's a dual reverb. So you know, it's exactly what it says it is.
That means two reverbs are going at once, or
there's two reverbs, two signal processors in the box. So it actually is a dual reverb. So that gives us a lot of advantages. You know, it gives us spillover with presets. So if you're switching from one preset to another, you get true spillover, which means, you know, if you're in the middle of a song and you're switching from preset 1 to preset 2, preset 1,
drop out.
Yeah, preset 1 will not get cut off abruptly. It will degrade sort of very naturally. It also allows us to run reverbs simultaneously. So, you know, you can run two reverb engines in parallel. You can also cascade them, you know, one into another. So
let's talk about the controls that we see here. Like maybe start with the Reverb Types available.
Okay. So on the surface, we've got 12 reverb types, and I should say that we don't use off-the-shelf reverb processors. All this stuff is made in-house by our man Bob Chidlaw, our sound engineer. And he's been doing reverb pedals for a long time. I mean, he worked with Kurzweil in the 80s and 90s, and he was a lead engineer with those guys, and he developed their reverbs. And
big deal. I mean, they were making keyboards that were like hundreds of thousands of dollars in the 80s, right?
Yeah, they were serious. I mean, he was a big part of like the first
samplers.
Yeah, he talks about seeing Ultravox using his keyboard, you know, during Live Aid, and it was like a big moment for him.
I remember when I was in high school, this is a total aside, but speaking of Kurzweil, in high school, my band teacher brought in like one of those $200,000 Kurzweils. I don't know how we got them. Like, that was mind-blowing at the time to see a sampler. Okay, but back to this. So you have an engineer who totally knows his stuff on this. Yeah. You got 12 reverbs. Want to list them for us?
Yeah, I mean, over on this side are the more traditional ones. We've got a spring reverb, which is just, you know, that's the one that you got to nail, and I think we nailed it. It sounds great. There's
what did we hear on the beginning with that Alex was playing?
That was our Hall Lexicon sound, or Lexicon Hall bass sound, Hall style. So yeah, very lush sound. There's also plate reverbs on there. There's a couple of room sounds. And over on the right side are the more non-traditional sounds. We've got a modulation reverb. There's a shimmer reverb on there, which has two pitch, you know, two different. It's a pitch shifting reverb, and it's got two different pitches that you can adjust.
So there's a lot of modes that I, you know, are kind of recognizable descriptors before, but I've never seen one called Offspring before.
Yeah, Offspring is that's fun. We, you
not named after the band, I'm guessing.
No, not inspired by them. Offspring was. Let me tell you a story. We, you know, Bob developed this spring tool to build his spring reverb, and you know, he got the spring, but then he could also do all this other stuff. So he came up with like 6 like really wild sounds, you know, more sort of out there kind of stuff. And we made clips, and we've been asking people what they think is the best. But then all of a sudden, you know, he's like, back in my, you know, Kurzweil days, I developed this thing called laser verb, and you know, it's sort of forgotten to time, but it's a great sound. And he was like, you know, I'm gonna
sound like lasers.
Yeah, sort of. You know, sure. It sounds like a harp to me.
I think we need to hear it.
Should we? Yeah.
Let's hear the Offspring. We can't talk about it and not hear it.
Let's do it. So I was gonna save this for the grand finale. Let's just go into it right now. So. Yeah.
And we're hearing it through two amps here, but we're only micing one, so you guys aren't hearing the full effect, but it's
like
pretty
a
trippy.
Left and right kind of effect that's going on. But
what sort of adjustment can you do to that? I mean you want to show us some extremes
sort of
on that?
Slow it down. Okay. See, yeah, let's try.
Totally.
Are you ready? Go. Slowing it down. Sounds good when you speed it up. Ready? So yeah.
Now can you use like expression control to do stuff like that?
Yeah, there's an expression jack in the back, and you can assign it to, any of the knobs. I think by default, it will be a volume swell into it, but you can assign it to any combination of the knobs, like change the direction of them.
Okay, and now as I look at the control panel, I'm guessing the control 1 and control 2 are you can assign to whatever parameter you want to using like editor software or something?
Exactly. By default, they'll be, each engine they'll be assigned to different things, so they're just kind of the wild card thing. But yes, when you
can change that if you want?
Yeah, if you get into the Neuro editor, you can, make those control different.
That's for Mac or PC?
What's that?
The editor software?
Yes. So the editor is, there's the 12 sounds that are on the face of the pedal, but in the editor there's an additional, and see, I'm not exactly sure because, there's a lot of extra reverb engines in the editor. And say, if one of these things is just, you're not using it, you can take one of those sounds from the editor and pop it right into one of those slots, and it'll be there until you, reattach it to the editor and do it again. Cool. We've got editors for desktop as well as mobile, and it works for iPhone and Android devices.
Is there anything special about the foot switches in terms of like multi-functionality?
Yes. Or? Of course there is.
That's source audio.
Yeah, it's source audio. This one is on-off, and also if you hold it down, it would scroll backwards through presets.
How many presets?
There's 8 available on board, but of course there is it's MIDI functional, completely. So there's potentially 128 presets in there. But
the option foot switch.
But this one, by default, it would just scroll up when you hit it. But there's also a hold function. If you hold it down, creates a little reverb loop. Basically, just hold it, freezing a chord that you can then play over. And because of the dual processing, you can have reverb applied to the sound that you're playing over as well. Like the other reverb will pick up the slack, when the other one is sort of in its loop.
No.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sure we could spend a really long time talking about all this because, like we were saying earlier, joking about, you guys have so many features built into pretty much all your pedals. You want to choose 1 or 2 other like standout sounds to play for people before we head out?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, I want to explain this one thing. Okay. Because yes, they feature a lot of features, but we try to make the pedal, when you pull it out of the box, it should be easy to play. It should be easy to use.
Not daunting.
Yeah. So you just select your sound in here, and we've got this little toggle switch, and to the left is reverb A, and to the right is reverb B. And if you want to set up a sound, all you do is select reverb A, get your sound, dial it in, go to reverb B, select a different engine if you want, dial in that sound, and then go to A plus B, and you'll hear both of them. So it's really easy to get to, like a dual reverb, really easy to edit. And when you're in A plus B mode, you can control the wet level of reverb A with control 1 and the wet level of reverb B with control 2. Mix controls the overall wet to dry sort of ratio.
You want to show us a standout example of that?
Yeah, sure. So let's... So this is nice. So we got the hall again. So play them a little bit of... Okay, but if I switch over to reverb B, tank B, we've got our shimmer reverb over there. Nice. So, obviously we go to A and B. Now we've got both. And You can hear I control the levels here, so. Bring out the shimmer. Bring it back in.
That's very Holdsworthian.
And the mix, you know, just bring it as much as you want. So yeah.
Cool.
Here we go.
So how much is the Ventris going for?
The Ventris, I expect it to be $399, but that's not written in stone. That's what we're talking about right now.
So I guess people, when is it going to be available?
Hopefully in late August, early September.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, people can go online to your website and check out information on it.
We're keeping things up to date. We're posting, you know, some clips and stuff. Yeah, we're on sourceaudio.net.
Sweet. All right. Thanks for playing, Alex. Jeff, thanks for telling us about it. Thanks for joining us, guys. I'm Sean Hammond for PremierGuitar.com.